Welcome to ExplorinVictorian. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 1872's Encyclopedia of Practical Receipts and Processes and making their recipe for mustache wax. Our recipe for Hungarian pomade for the mustache says melt by a gentle heat 1/2 pound gum arabic and 1/2 pound of oil soap in 1 pint rose water. Then add 1 pound white wax, constantly stirring. When of a uniform consistency, add 1 ounce attar of bergamot and 1/2 dram attar of thyme for perfume. If required to be brown, color it with tube burnt amber, or for black, use tube ivory-black. So let's take a look at some of the ingredients we're going to be using. So the first ingredient our recipe calls for is gum arabic powder. This is food grade. I picked this up off of Amazon. I forget how much it was for 6 ounces. But you can use this for all kinds of things. I'm sure that I'll come up with another project to use this in. The next ingredient our recipe calls for is oil soap. And this is going to take just a little bit of explanation. I talked a little bit about soap in my shaving video, lye soap, Castile soap, carbolic soap. Oil soap and Castile soap I thought were interchangeable, and you'll see here it says Castile soap on this box. In the 19th century, and even strictly speaking still today, Castile soap is 100% olive oil. Whereas oil soap in the 19th century just referred to soap made from vegetable oils. So it wasn't lye soap made from animal fat, even though it still had lye in it. And today we call any plant oil-based soap Castile soap, whether it's got olive oil in it or not. But strictly speaking, in the 19th century, Castile soap was only olive oil and lye and water. And oil soap were things like vegetable oils like palm oil with a mixture of olive oil or coconut oil. So I looked around for plant-based soaps on Amazon and came up with this. It says Castile soap, but this contains other types of vegetable oils in it. And the important thing is this bar of soap is fairly hard. It's hard to dent with my fingernail. So when this melts into our wax, it should set up well. I don't know about putting soap into mustache wax. I've never tried it, but we'll give it a shot and see how this goes. One other thing about our soap is it came lavender scented. Now this brand didn't have an unscented, they had lavender and something else. And since we're supposed to be mixing this into rose water, the other scent didn't sound like it would mix well with the rose water, so I just went ahead and grabbed the lavender. Speaking of rose water, I've got a jar of rose water here. Naomi and I couldn't find rose water for sale locally, so we were able to get hold of some roses, and we made our own rose water, which was an interesting learning process. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about making rose water, how it differs from rose tea, and that's something that you can check out. I'm not going to go too much into it in this video here. Other things that we're going to need is white wax. So I've got these white beeswax pellets. You can pick this up at Hobby Lobby. It's over in the candle making things, I believe. But there's a lot of uses for this as well. Different health products. You can make different types of candles, just all sorts of things you can do with this. And you can find this on Amazon as well as the hobby store. I went ahead and picked this up, and I've been using this to make mustache wax. But the wax I've been making wasn't based off of anything historical. So today is going to be the first time that I actually try using a historical recipe. So those are the ingredients that we're going to use today. I thought I had some bergamot and thyme essential oils around here, but I guess I'm out. So we're going to skip on those. I think the rose water and the lavender scent from the soap will be fine for the scent. And as far as the amber and the ivory black, I'm going to just leave my wax its natural color. I'm not going to try to add any pigment to it. The one thing that I do have is a tin to put this in. I'm not sure exactly how much this tin holds. Naomi got some tea in this and donated it for the cause. So what I'm going to do is cut all of those ingredients by 4. I'm only going to make up a quarter of this recipe because, quite frankly, I think if I made this whole thing as written, it would be quite a bit of mustache wax. So I'm going to take this tin, I'm going to set it down in a pan of water on the stove to act as a double boiler. And then I'm going to put a quarter of each of our ingredients that we looked at into the tin and let them melt and stir it up. So let's get to it. I've weighed out the gum arabic powder and mixed it into the rose water. And then I weighed out the soap and cut it up into smaller pieces. It wanted to crumble on me, which was fine. That smaller bits will dissolve better into the mixture. And I've got this on a medium heat so that we don't get it up too high. And I'm just going to keep stirring and mixing. I'm going to add in a little bit of our beeswax and stir that in. I'm going to wait for this to melt. And then I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add the rest of our beeswax slowly like that. And then we'll let this cool and see how it turns out. So once I got all my wax put in here, I turned it up to a medium-high heat and set that bowl on top just to act as a lid and keep the heat in. As you can see, it's kind of got like a custard consistency to it. It didn't get completely liquid, but the lumps are out. The hard lumps of wax are out. The soap is all dissolved. I don't know how long that took. Just every couple of minutes I'd lift that bowl up and give it a stir. It never got completely liquid. It just stayed this consistency and mixed together. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the pan now and set this off and let it cool, and we'll see what we end up with. So our wax is set up and I've started using it. This wax works really well. It's fairly hard when it's in the tin, set up fairly firm. I've got a little bit in a smaller tin that I carry in my pocket, and just the body heat from being in my pocket softens it up so that I can get some out easily onto my fingers, smear it around. It goes into my mustache really well. The nice thing about this wax is it's got the soap in it. So when you go to wash this off of your fingers after you put it in your mustache, that soap just liquefies and your hands wash clean really easily. After you take a shower, after having this in your mustache, it's like a conditioner for your mustache. And I kind of worried some about humidity, body heat, how well this would stay in my mustache. But I cooked a pot of chili last night, standing over a steaming pot. My mustache held, it didn't droop. I didn't have to put more in it or anything. It's done really well. In fact, I've used other recipes. I've tried commercial products. Nothing has held and kept curl to my mustache like that I've ever tried. So if you've got a mustache, if you're thinking about growing your mustache out, you need some mustache wax, go ahead and give this recipe a try. And like I say, I quartered it, and this is easily 2 years, maybe 3 years worth of mustache wax. I'm not going to have to make any for a long time. So if you like this video, give us a like and a subscribe. Comment down below if you try this wax recipe out. Let me know how it works for you, and we'll see you next time on Exploring Victorian.